Okay, good afternoon, everyone from Lagos, Nigeria. I am Chidera Judith. Chidera Judith, basically. I'm a graduate of English Language and Literature Department, Nnamdi Azikiwe University.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi A14, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started into this episode.
I graduated with first class honors, and I'm a writer. I write for brands, I write for individuals, I write for social media handles. So, and I intend to, continue with my passion for writing. So it's good to be here.
That's lovely. We need more writers because we need to tell our stories. So for the
Yeah,
fact that
definitely.
you love writing, that is absolutely very important. All right. So one of the things that we do here, Judith, is that we try to concentrate on the life of the people that come here. So we try to know them because we are very proud of who we are, where we are coming from, our history, our background, our past, all of it. No. So let me help me to know you better. You're okay. I know you're a young woman. Okay, tell me when you were much younger than this, when you were, I don't know, like 5, 6, and you are still trying to form yourself around. So tell me about your background around you. Help me.
Okay. First off, I am the first child of my parents, five children, four girls and a girl and a boy, and I hail from Anambra State. So basically, I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. I just had to, step out of Lagos when I gained admission. And the reason I just decided to go out of Lagos was because I have never been outside Lagos. It's always been Lagos, Lagos, Lagos. So I decided to study outside Lagos. So right from, like I said, I grew up in Lagos. So I basically schooled in Lagos, um, Lagos State private and both public schools. So right from while I was a child, I've actually had this passion for writing, right? But the thing is, the way it can be for us while growing, sometimes you're uncertain due to maybe immaturity and lack of experience. But I know while I was growing, my secondary school teacher, my English teacher, actually helped me out. He would ask me to write stories, and then I'll submit to him, then he will edit, I'll go back, write, and like that. That was how I continued. And he was also the one that inspired me to, study English language and literature in the university. So it has always been about writing, although I never thought I was going to like eventually become a writer. But all I know is I just loved writing. I just had the passion for writing. I just enjoyed writing. So that's just it. That's just it. And here I am. So yeah.
All right, that's good. So what do you like to write about? Let's try to explore that part also a little bit.
Okay. First of all, I started with stories. Like I enjoy writing stories. Like I said, my English teacher then would always ask me to like write story. I still have like a whole lot of the old manuscripts stored up somewhere. So I would just write stories. Sometimes I used to have this dream of writing and then maybe publishing my own book at that age. So I basically wrote stories, dramas, prose, and I wasn't a poem person. Like I not like I didn't like poetry, but I kind of like the flair wasn't there, but it was majorly drama and prose. So I started writing stories not until I got admission into the university, and then I eventually started a job as a freelance blogger. That was my first time exploring content writing, like pure content writing. But even with content writing, I still try to incorporate stories in it, right? Because I believe that you know telling stories has this way of attracting your audience. If you're just writing content, it might just sometimes it might be boring. Depends on where you're coming from. You understand? For instance, if you're writing on technology, not everyone might be interested in technology, especially if you're making use of big terms. But imagine writing on technology and then you're coming in with telling stories. It draws people attention. So that was how I started with writing pure content. And then also I wrote content for my fellowship in school. So since then up to now, I've been writing content, although I still incorporate storytelling, is because I naturally have a flair for storytelling. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. Of course, you're going to, anyway, what you are doing just now, the story, and I'm going to ask you to go a little bit deeper on that as we continue in the episode.
All right.
Okay, now tell me when you say writing content and using storytelling, and you are writing for brand, you are writing also for social media handles and all of that. So let's take it one bit at a time. So what does those things actually mean? Is it that you are helping people to write for free, or is it something that somebody can aspire to earn money from? Because in this podcast, in some of our episodes, we try to encourage people to have business of their own, no? And when you write content for a company and you choose how they should pay you, what they should pay you, sometimes this can also be a business for yourself too. Because I know that some people they think that there is not money to make in writing. You just write because you have free time. That is why you are writing. But we think people can actually make money just writing. And now you are talking of content writing for people. So I'm trying to understand if you are writing for free or is it actually a business? Help me understand that.
Okay. Honestly, when I started writing, even as a secondary school student, I never ever for once thought that I could make money write and make money. But I never thought that you could actually make money from content writing. Even when I started my job as a blogger, I was just doing it for the sake of voluntary. I just volunteered to help out with writing as a blogger, and as well as while I was also writing for my fellowship. So I never ever thought for once that I could make money from writing. But as time went on, I there's this friend of mine that he knows about my passion for writing, and then we started talking, working together towards, and maybe sometimes when I write, I send to him, he looks at it and then send back to me and all of that. So eventually he made me see that I could actually make money from writing. Although at first it was this Upwork, Fiverr, writing for Upwork and Fiverr. I tried it while I was a student, while I was in school, but I wasn't able to put up with it. So I just left it. And I still had that mindset of writing is just for writing's sake. But the truth is, we can make, all people, I make a whole lot of money from writing. When you write content, for when people see that you're good, especially your client, right? So they employ you, and then you can even earn as much as 10,000 Nigerian dollars, Nigerian naira, 20,000, 50,000 per content. Depends on your reputation, depends on your skill, and then depends on the company or the individual you're working for. So yes, writing is very lucrative, especially in this world of ours where everything is going digital. Every company, every brand, every individual is online trying to market their wares, trying to sell their products, sell their services. They would actually need the help of a content writer, a copywriter, to make their wares and their products, their services attractive to their target audience. So you see where writing comes in. You cannot just, offer service for free. So they must be willing to pay. So yeah, writing is very lucrative. Aside working in as maybe working as an employer for a company, you could also, sit back and then write for people, even in the comfort of your home, and then you're making as much as anyone can make out there. So yes, writing is very lucrative, very, very lucrative.
That's very good, and that and I'm sure a lot of people are finding that to be very interesting. Know that they can
Yeah.
actually, in the comfort of your home, write and then make money from it. That is really interesting, you know. Okay, now, Judith, how do you find people that you want to write for? Maybe businesses or individual. How do you do that?
Okay, okay. There's something called branding, right? I got to understand that after I left school. Um, Branding is basically putting out yourself as a master in what you do. But it's not just about putting out yourself as a master. It's also really being a master in what you do. So I the way I get my clients is basically I get most of my clients from my social media handles, LinkedIn and then Facebook. You know, immediately I graduated and I was sure I wanted to go into writing. I started writing. Like I started with stories. If you check my Facebook handles and then my LinkedIn handles, even basically Facebook and LinkedIn, you would see that when I started getting serious with writing, I started with stories. I would just post normal stories. Part one, people would be like, okay, I enjoyed this story. I'm waiting for the second. And then until I started writing actual content. But even at that, I still didn't want to, abandon the idea of storytelling. So while writing content and then putting up myself as a content writer, so many people come to my handles or see my posts, see my content, and then you see people come back and then, oh, I loved your write. I like the way you write. I love your content. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And that's it. That's how I get my clients. And then sometimes some of them actually refer me to, someone that might be in need of a content writer. And that was how I started writing for people. That was how I got clients for writing. And then aside that, there is this thing they say that sometimes don't wait for opportunity to come to you. You go to opportunity sometimes. So most times I actually go out to, you know, check out for brands, check out for individuals in need of content writing. I submit my CV. I would also submit samples of my work, and then they'll go through it and okay, get back to me. I love your work and all of that. And then from there, I get employed and start writing. So that's it.
All right, good. Now, is it any type of businesses you write for, or you have a specific brand or businesses you want to write for? I mean, do you write all sort of, do you do all sort of writing, or do you have some specific client that you prefer to write for? Help me understand that.
Okay, I do all sort of writing. The aim is for the sake of versatility. I enjoy being versatile, right? I do not want to, limit myself to say um maybe social activities or political issues or any kind. I just, write for different brands. But the idea is I must be able to understand, I must be able to understand the brand. There's something we call lead analysis in content writing or content marketing. Before you can come in as a content marketer, you must be able to, understand the brand. You must be able to understand the company. You must be able to understand what they do, their aim, what they want to project to their audience, and then you build your content around that. That is if I am writing for companies or brands. And if I am writing for individuals, basically maybe writing content for their social media handles, I must also be able to understand their purpose for writing. Why do they need a content writer? Why do they want content on their social media handles? What image do they want to project? And then what is their end goal? So all this helps me, to all this helped me, to like build my content around those things. So I would say for now, I'm actually versatile. I write for different issues. I write on different niches and fields. So maybe until I become a pro in one, but for now I am versatile. Yes.
That's very interesting. All right, now, where do you think maybe aspiring writer can start from? Now, they don't yet know how to go about it. They want to write for business. No, we're not talking of just writing for passion. We are looking at those who want to write and make money from their writing. Where do you think they should start from so that they can also learn to become expert one day?
Okay, as an aspiring writer, I think the first thing is to learn. You can't just come out there and then project yourself as a writer when you're not schooled. So the first thing is to learn. For me, I won't say it wasn't that easy, but it was a bit easy for me because first of all, I studied English language in school. Then secondly, I've always had the flair for writing. So it has always been writing. I give people the edits and all of that. And then at the same time, I worked as a blogger, and then I also worked as a lead writer. So all of this helped in, shaping my intellect or my skill as a writer. So if anyone that is an aspiring writer, the first thing they have to do is, to learn the art of writing. And then after that, if they after that they have to go into the idea of branding, like putting out themselves as content writers, putting out themselves as masters in what they do. You get? So we have learning, we have branding, and then we also have going for opportunities when they come. It could be a volunteer service. It could also be just like anything that revolves around content writing, anything that revolves around writing, they should always be found there. That is how they build. Eventually they build. And then before anyone can do all of this, one must always have like an end goal or a purpose where he or she is targeting. So this is what actually helps them, build and then forge ahead with their career as aspiring writers. So yes.
Hmm. Now, what about the training, the upgrade? No, say you know how to write now. That is already a good thing. You're already on the good part. But to know how to write professionally, to know how to write a good article or a good content that somebody would like to read, and there are a lot involved. We got a number of niche blog, where we write about different things from travel to business. So yes, we do. I do have people that are writing for some of my blogs. No, sometimes you get an article. No, no, no. This one we are not going to do anything with it. We just throw it aside, no, because it doesn't resonate with us and with our audience, no. So I'm trying to say here that just writing is different from writing a really quality content that people would like to read. So I'm looking at the upgrade now. From you just knowing how to read and you know
Okay.
how to read properly, sorry, knowing how to write and know how to write properly, what do you need to do to upgrade your skill? Help me with that.
It's basically learning and experience. While what I said earlier, I when I was talking earlier, I mentioned learning, and I mentioned that they must always, put themselves in activities that revolves around writing. So no man can, for me, even though I had the flair for writing, even though I always wanted to write, I cannot, I didn't qualify immediately as a professional writer. As a matter of fact, at a point, there are some, content I write and for people, and then I send to them, and then they'll be like, no, this is not what I want. This is not this doesn't, fit into what I want to project and all of that. That doesn't mean that there is anything wrong with the content. Everything is okay, but it doesn't just sit into, what that person wants at that time. So there is a room for learning and there is a room for experience. For instance, there was a time I wrote on NFTs. I don't know if I wrote on NFTs, non-fungible token. That's about crypto and the rest. Now, I at first I didn't have a knowledge of NFT. I didn't have a knowledge of anything crypto. Like I know about crypto, but not like a deep knowledge. So, but here is the content I have to write on NFT. How do I do it? At first, I started writing, and then my client was saying, no, this is not what he wants. Like he wants it this way and this way, and I had to go back, to learn. I interviewed some persons telling me about NFT. I watched videos. I did a whole lot of things for me to be able to come out with a standard content, a professional content on NFT. So there is actually a room for learning, especially notwithstanding the level or the height one as the thing that's a writer. There is always a room for learning, and then there is also a room for putting yourself in activities that revolve around writing. Whether it's paid or not, or the end result for you is to get paid, but you can't get paid if you're not a professional. People will come to you if you don't know how to write. So as a startup, as someone that is coming up, it should just be about learning, becoming better, expanding your horizon, and that's just it. Yes.
Before, you were making mention of storytelling, which I find to be very important. Now, let's talk maybe a few things about that. What is storytelling? How do you describe it to someone, to say a child, for example, who is asking you about storytelling?
Okay. If anyone should ask me what storytelling is, I'll basically say that storytelling is, documenting your experiences, both past, present, and future, significant and insignificant, in such a way that it makes sense to your readers, in such a way that your readers find meaning in it. So storytelling sometimes, people see storytelling as just storytelling. Like you can just pick up your book and your pen and start putting in something. But for me, I see storytelling as something that should be significant, something that should always revolve around something that should be fascinating. You can just like pick up your pen and then start writing on the name of storytelling. Actually be able to you should actually be able to make it look attractive. You should actually be able to, draw your audience to whatever you're writing. And that's why sometimes while writing my content, I always love incorporating storytelling into them, because I believe that so many people are actually one way or another drawn to storytelling. So if a child should ask me what storytelling is, I would say it's documenting your experiences, both significant and insignificant, in such a way that it makes sense to your readers or to your audience.
Now, how do you incorporate storytelling into your content writing? I think that is important, particularly for brands who, because in our business platform, we try to encourage people to use content writing to promote their business, because it's gonna the days where you are just there telling people buy my offer. Now it's time to start bringing solution to the people through your content. This is how you are going to be able to build audience around what you offer. Then at the end of the day, you can then offer something in exchange for money. So in this case, story is going to be very important. So tell me, in your writing, how do you integrate storytelling in your content writing? Help me with that.
Okay, basically, I make use of experiences, my experiences, and then social, political trends around. So, starting with my experience, I would just look for something that is odd, something sad, something, let me not make use of the word, or let's say something controversial, and then I start with it. And once I start with something controversial, in a sense that, like, I want to tell a story about something controversial, people would, want, what is she saying? What do you want to say? And then along the line, you just see me divert into whatever it is I wanted to say. So when you're incorporating storytelling into content marketing, it is, will I say, it's easy, and then it's not easy, because if you're not able to, sometimes we might want to tell a story, and then our story gets, maybe whatever we want to say might be too long, that we eventually forget the reason we decided to write that content, or we eventually forget the purpose for writing that content. So I believe that for me, the way I do it is, I just start from the peak of events. If I'm writing a story, if I'm starting with a story, I start with the peak of events, like where people want to know, okay, what later happened, when things are so intense, and then everybody is drawn to your content. And then even while you're trying to make your work intense, or your story intense, you might just like turn it the other way around, and they'll be like, Jesus, so this is what she wanted to say. But you've caught their attention already, and they are already in it. So they can't go back. They eventually want to read. Sometimes I intentionally, extend my stories till the end before I say what I want to say. So even if when they get to the end and then they see, okay, this is what she actually wanted to say, they've read my story, they've gotten what I wanted to say, and it has registered in their brains. So that's just it. Like, storytelling is incorporating storytelling in your content sometimes can be tricky, but at the same time, it's well, I say it's fun. It makes your work, flexible. It makes your work, it makes people, always look forward to your content. Because sometimes, for instance, now, if I'm writing on technology, I cannot just like come up, or I'm writing anything on medicine or health, I cannot just come up and start, using the registers for health or for technology. For a normal person reading, they might find it boring. Like, okay, they just highest first and second line. And there is this belief that there's this thing about your audience, that once they read your first, second line, or even the last two lines of your content, they just click like button and then move up. They didn't get the idea or whatever you're trying to say. So that is why storytelling is very essential, because everybody loves stories. Like, everybody loves hearing stories. So once you start, like, you want to say something, you want to talk about a story, you want to say something about, it could be anything. It could be my personal experience. It could be about anything happening around. If I'm making use of a social or political issue, I majorly make use of something that is trending at that time, something that is on the lips of everyone, and then everybody wants to know each other's opinion about it. So once I start with it, I'm getting the idea, I'm getting the attention of my audience, and then eventually I just go into whatever it is I want to say.
Now, if people want to connect with you, where can they get you, maybe to do business with you? Do you have a website? Do you have a blog? Use this moment to advertise yourself. Go ahead.
Okay. The thing is, for now, I make use of my Facebook and LinkedIn, basically LinkedIn. So if anyone wants to connect with me, they can connect with me on LinkedIn, Chidera Judith, and also Facebook, Chidera Judith. And for my website, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on coming out with something very, unique. So well, I'll say that for now, what is working effectively now is my Facebook and my LinkedIn handles.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine.
If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewafo. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you in the next episode.